Welcome. This is the first episode in a 10-part series exploring the psychology and teachings of Carl Jung. This is not a lecture series and not a collection of quick answers. It is a slow inner journey into meaning, the unconscious, and the deeper layers of the human psyche. If you are here, you may already sense that something essential is missing in modern life. That sense of quiet disconnection is where this journey begins. We live in a strange time. Never before has humanity had so much information, so much technology, so many ways to stay distracted. And yet, beneath the surface, something feels deeply unsettled. Many people today are not suffering because their lives are objectively bad. They have work, they have relationships, they have comfort, and still something feels missing. A quiet sense of emptiness, a feeling of being disconnected from oneself, a vague anxiety that seems to have no clear cause. People are not asking only how to succeed, they are asking something much more fundamental. Why am I here? What is the meaning of my life? Why does everything feel hollow even when I do what I'm supposed to do? More than 100 years ago, one man recognized this crisis before it fully arrived. His name was Carl Jung. Jung believed that modern humanity was not primarily sick in the body or the intellect, but in the soul. If this exploration resonates with you, you are welcome to stay with the full series. There will be 10 episodes in total, released as one continuous journey. And if you feel this work has value, you can support it by liking the video or subscribing, not out of habit, but as a quiet signal that this kind of depth still matters. Section 1. Carl Jung, a man between worlds. Carl Jung was born in Switzerland in 1875, the son of a Protestant pastor. From early on, Jung lived between two worlds. On the surface, there was the outer world, education, religion, society, expectations. But beneath it, Jung experienced a rich and often disturbing inner world. Dreams, images, emotions, intuitions that did not fit neatly into rational explanations. As a child, Jung already sensed that much of adult life was built on unspoken rules and hidden contradictions. He noticed how people often said one thing, believed another, and lived something else entirely. This early sensitivity would later become central to his life's work. Jung trained as a medical doctor and became a psychiatrist, working in a time when psychology was still a young discipline. Mental illness was often misunderstood, feared, or dismissed. Unlike many of his contemporaries, Jung listened carefully to his patients, not only to their symptoms, but to their stories, dreams, and symbols. He sensed that the human psyche was not a mechanical system to be repaired, but a living process to be understood. Section 2. Jung and Freud, the Great Split. Early in his career, Jung worked closely with Sigmund Freud. At first, Freud and Jung shared a deep mutual respect. Freud saw Jung as his potential successor, the one who would carry psychoanalysis into the future. But their views of the human psyche gradually diverged. Freud believed that human behavior could largely be explained through repressed sexuality and instinctual drives. Jung felt this view was too narrow, too reductive. He believed that human beings are not driven only by the past, but also by an inner movement toward meaning, wholeness, and future development. Where Freud emphasized pathology, Jung emphasized potential. Eventually, this disagreement became irreconcilable. Their professional break was painful, and for Jung, deeply destabilizing. But this rupture forced Jung into a confrontation with himself. Section 3. The Descent into the Unconscious. After separating from Freud, Jung entered one of the most important phases of his life. He experienced powerful dreams, visions, and inner images that felt overwhelming and unfamiliar. Rather than suppressing them or labeling them as illness, Jung chose a radical path. He turned inward. He carefully recorded his dreams. He dialogued with inner figures. He painted symbolic images. He allowed his unconscious to speak. This period later became known through his private work, The Red Book. Jung was not losing his sanity. He was exploring the depths of the human psyche consciously. Through this experience, Jung realized something crucial. The unconscious is not chaos. It has structure. It has intention. It compensates for what the conscious mind neglects. This insight would shape everything that followed. Section 4. What Jung meant by the soul. When Jung spoke about the soul, he was not speaking in a purely religious sense. For Jung, the soul represented the living center of psychological life, the place where meaning, emotion, imagination, and purpose converge. Modern society, Jung believed, had become dangerously one-sided. It valued logic, productivity, and efficiency, while dismissing imagination, intuition, and inner experience. As a result, people became increasingly disconnected from themselves. Jung observed that when the soul is ignored, it does not disappear. It manifests indirectly through symptoms: anxiety, depression, compulsion, addiction, a vague sense of meaninglessness. These were not merely malfunctions, they were messages. Section 5. Suffering as a message, not a mistake. One of Jung's most radical ideas was that psychological suffering often has meaning. Not all suffering is meaningful, but much of it is, especially the suffering that returns again and again, the kind that follows you no matter how much you change your circumstances. Jung believed that many neuroses arise when a person's outer life no longer corresponds to their inner truth. The psyche reacts by creating tension. Symptoms, in this view, are not enemies, they are signals. They ask uncomfortable questions. Is this really the life you are meant to live? What part of you has been ignored? What wants to emerge? Section 6. The spiritual crisis of modern man. Jung saw clearly that traditional religion was losing its authority in the modern world. For many people, religious symbols had become empty rituals or outdated beliefs, but Jung warned, when religious frameworks collapse, the psychological needs they once held do not disappear, they go underground. Modern people, lacking inner orientation, began searching for meaning in external achievements: career, wealth, relationships, status, constant stimulation. But these could never fully satisfy the deeper hunger of the soul. Jung warned that individuals without inner grounding become vulnerable to collective forces, ideologies, mass movements, unconscious identification with groups. The less a person knows themselves, the more easily they are possessed by something else. Section 7. The individual path. Perhaps Jung's most challenging idea was this: there is no universal formula for a meaningful life. Each person carries a unique inner pattern, a psychological blueprint that unfolds over time. Trying to live according to collective expectations alone leads to inner conflict. Jung called the journey toward becoming one's true self individuation. This does not mean becoming special or superior, it means becoming whole, integrating conscious and unconscious, light and shadow, strength and vulnerability. This process is slow, often painful, but deeply transformative. Section 8. Why Jung still speaks to us today. Jung's relevance has not diminished, it has increased. We live in a time of unprecedented external development and profound internal disorientation. People are more connected than ever, yet more isolated, more informed, yet less certain of what truly matters. Jung does not offer easy answers. He offers orientation. He invites us to turn inward, not to escape the world, but to live in it more consciously, more responsibly, and more truthfully. Closing, an invitation, not a promise. This series is not about mastering theories or collecting concepts. It is about learning how to listen to dreams, emotions, inner conflicts, and symbols. In the next episode, we will explore the foundation of Jung's psychology, the ego, the self, and the true center of the psyche. If something in you resonated while listening to this, stay with the journey. The work is slow, but it is real, and it begins within. The next episode continues with the foundation of Jung's psychology, the ego, and the self. If you wish to continue, you're welcome to subscribe and return.